Hey, this is 6 Bolton, Von Dune's lab. This is Hook of the Reaper release 1.3.2 and Lead Hook Strip release version 0.3. So I'm sure probably a lot of people have seen my post. If you haven't noticed yet, Hook of the Reaper, Lead Hook Strip, and ROM Sniffer GitHubs are now private. So no more access to the source code. So it's still in pre-production, so when I get it done, I'll probably wait maybe like 6 months to make sure there's no bugs, then release it. So, no rush. I plan to release it, but I don't know if it's always pre-production, maybe it says. And also, Lead Hook Strip didn't use Qt, so there is no requirements to release it. So I don't really have to if I don't want to. It's kind of up to that. So, kind of what happened? Well, I found out there was a new hooker program called OpenHooker project. And when I started looking through it, I'm like, oh, I know that function. I know that code. I know that function. Go through a couple, the code, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is pretty much a copy of Hook of the Reaper. The person pretty much cut out the INI side of Hook of the Reaper. So it's pretty much, OpenHooker is pretty much Hook of the Reaper Lite. So that's probably what I'm going to call it. It's Hook of the Reaper Lite, pretty much. He took a shitload of code out of it. Then when I get that, he gave me no credit to Hook of the Reaper, me, or the project. So that was kind of shitty. And, when people are like, well, is it malice or is it being stupid? And right now, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much malice. Unless he can come up. He hasn't talked to me, has not contacted me. So that also tells you what kind of person. If I screwed up and did something like that, I would be contacting the person right away, apologizing, saying, hey, I screwed up. I'll make it right. But this person, no. I guess now he put credit on there, but never contacted me. So hopefully he grows a pair and comes and contacts me. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so and that kind of goes against the GPL 3-point license, where you do have to give credit, which is attribution. And also, you have to note all the changes you made to the code. So that wasn't done. So if the person, didn't give Hook of the Reaper credit, what else did he need to give him credit for? What else code did he took? How much of Hook of the Reaper Lite is actually this guy's code? And how much is it cut and pasted, right? So if he's like, gets called out and goes, okay, and just puts me in the credits, and you're like, okay, who's else? Who didn't, So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe if you put other people in there, I'd be like, okay, maybe I believe. But no, he just does the bare, like, minimum. So, but before I knew about Output Hooker, actually, Polybius Extreme had an enhancement issue filed with Hook of the Reaper. So it was for the Ultramark commands. So if you come here, you can see here, Polybius Extreme, right? Add pack drive INI side to Hook of the Reaper. So he's like, hey, big thanks for adding Ultramark. Can you add it to this? So he knew me. He's contacted me. He's talked to me before. I'm like, okay. Then when I put it in, I go, hey, add it in. We'll keep this open to make sure things are working correctly. Yeah, 10 minutes later, he closed it. No explanation. He just closed it. So I was like, that's weird. I don't think he checked it out in like 10 minutes. But yeah, probably because he's on his probably second or third revision of Hook of the Reaper Lite. So why didn't he say something? He could have said, hey, I don't need this, or go, hey, I don't need this because I'm making my own hooker program, which is pretty much copied from your stuff. So this kind of leads me, this is kind of one of the main points I'm saying this is malice here. Because he contacted me, he know me, and he just closed it. So now he just closed it to try to go, oh, sorry, don't know, I skipped my mind. But you have to come in here, open the web page, and hit closed, right? So you could easily add anything. So that's why I'm like, it's kind of bullshit, dude. So, okay. And the sad thing, too, is, one of the sad things, if we could work together, if he came to me and go, hey, I'm just more interested about MAME hooker. Could I just take off the old MAME hooker and you can go do new things? And I'd be like, yeah, that could probably work. You could do all the old MAME hooker stuff and I can go on to do newer things, right? Like if he had a LED Wiz, and then I'm getting the RPG Brooks board. So then we can like swap those, so we can like share stuff and have two things. But yeah, that's not going to happen right now. That ship has sailed, dude. Now everything's locked down. So the thing is, like, I'm not more mad. It's just I'm more sad than anything. I'm like, really? Just sad. And the sad thing is, I do this project for fun, really. If it's not fun anymore, I'm going to stop. I have no qualms about it. I'm not doing it for fame. I'm not a very social person. I'm not all on the forums. It took me forever to get on Discord. So I could do tons of other projects, probably get more fame. Light guns are very small. So, and also not doing it for money. I have taken $0, no donations at all. Unlike, Polybolus Extreme, we go here, you see, just to show you this is actually him, you come here, go to repositories, output hooker. Right, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pay him money. Don't have on me. If you come to my site and you go to FAQ, do you have a Patreon? Can I buy you a coffee or donate a cause? Nope, I do not accept donations. Hook of the Reaper is open source and totally free. If you feel like to give back, you can write me a friendly message saying thanks. Since my time is late, I can't respond to all. So this has been up since the web page pretty much has been up. I do not accept any donations or any money. So that was kind of like, and, pretty much another thing is I have everything I need out of Hook of the Reaper. I don't have an arcade cabinet. I don't even have light buttons, I have a piece of cardboard with RGB lights stuck into it to make it look like buttons. I have LED strips taped to my wall. So I don't have all this. Like I said, I do this for fun, And also if I, do walk away, I have 20 other projects that I could do. Like I can get my 3D printer back together. I have a CNC. I have a metal lathe that I want to CNC. So I do want to do it, but if it becomes not too fun, because I don't want to compete against myself, because, what could happen? It's like, okay, if I still had Hook of the Reaper, out on GitHub, and I'll be getting the RPG Brooks board, right? It's probably going to take like 1 or 2 months to get all that in. It doesn't, from what I know, it doesn't have an SDK, so I have to build all that library myself, which is kind of good because I make sure it works for Linux because the Ultimark library doesn't. But yeah, I can do that. Then I have to put the code in. But yeah, then I release it. Then yeah, then people like Polybius Extreme can come in, cut and paste things. A day later, oh yeah, Hook of Reaper Lite now has, RPG, Brooks board encoder support. So what took me 1 to 2 months to do, it'll take him like a day to do. Then he's like 2 months more ahead too, because all I've been doing is working on the board. Then he just come in, cut and paste it. So yeah, why? Well, so I'm pretty much competing against myself then. So yeah, so that's why I was like, everything's getting shut down until everything is complete. Then even if I put in stuff later, like I said, it will probably be 6 months after it's been complete to make sure there's no bugs. Then I'll release the final production. So like I said, it's just sad. Kind of bummed out about it. So I might take some time, try to figure out it in like a couple weeks. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Oh, and also the other thing is now when to find the releases now, if you come here to the Hook of the Reaper webpage, you'll see releases now. So if you click on that, you come down here and you see 6-bolt projects. So you come here and you go Hook of the Reaper release, and you come here and you read about stuff. And I, get credits as I talked about in a couple releases. Paul, he did a pull request. I did accept pull request. So if anybody did wanted to help, they could send a Hook of the Reaper pull request just like Paul did. And I put that in. That was adding the custom USB light gun to Hook of the Reaper and fixing a bug in the add light gun window. And now, right now, Matt from Discord, he's working on converting Hook of the Reaper to Linux. So then the Battle people can actually work with Hook of the Reaper and use it. So that's really cool. But yeah, so there is people that actually want to work on the project and actually work with me instead of, going in and stealing everything and going, oh, sorry, didn't know. And if you come down here, you go to releases and you have the same thing, Windows 10 and the older one with the release notes. And same thing with lead hooks strip. I have the info here, how to hook it up, and at the bottom you'll have releases. Then 0.3 will be down here. Then for Hook of the Reaper version 1.3.2. Then I have my other ones. I have the LG TPC tester, ROM sniffer, and change player num. So now that's where releases will happen for Hook of the Reaper now. Okay, so people haven't seen my message here. I've been not feeling good. It's kind of like a normal thing, so it's not like a health scare, but it's going to be pretty much May, all of May, and the beginning of June. So it's going to normal. So I'm probably going to have slow responses. I've been better the last couple of days, but when I'm feeling sick and not good, I'm not really social, not on much. And, lately, the one bad thing is when I'm feeling really tired and actually in pain, as I have chronic pain, chronic facial pain, I have like a nerve stimulator, I have to take medicine and all that. So I just want to say sorry if I was short or rude to anyone. It's more because I was like tired and pain and just trying to get things done. So, and also, pain especially brings that out. I try not to try to be rude or short, but, like I said, if you're in bad pain, it's kind of hard to do. But, so sorry if I was short or rude with anybody. Also, an update on the Sinden 4 player. So, I found out the one issue with the fourth light gun always being sleeping was not true at all, because this is only the information I get from people. Like I said, I don't have 4 Sinden light guns, so it's only the information I get from people. But it turned out it was a USB hub problem. So after the person took out the USB, they had no problem putting it in for all of the Sinden light guns. But an interesting that happened was the person found an issue with Gaia Attack 4. He found when he shot on the fourth player, it recoiled on the third player. And it was a bug in Demol Shooter, which I found. And I told him about it, and he filed the bug with Argon. And actually, Argon just actually fixed it. He put it in the last release, which is out now. So it's fixed, and the guy said it's working now. So Gaia Attack 4 is fixed for 4-player. And that is in Demol Shooter 17.3. Okay, finally getting the things. So lead hook strip bugs. So I updated, so when you update display range, I didn't have it fully in there. I just had it from 0 to 999, so kind of like a 0 to 1,000. So I did update it to make it 0 to 9,999, and that matches what's in the specs and all that. So I just added the 1,000 place into updating the display range. So that fixes in. Then on the next one, it was kind of a weird one. It was when 3 or more LED strips are, actually I fixed this in version 0.22. This was a quick fix, but since I didn't have a video for it, I'm just going to talk about it now. So this is when 3 or more LED strips are running with patterns. So this is when you're out of a game or not in a supported game. So if the 3 or more LED strips using patterns, the third strip didn't work. And also I saw one time they all locked up, all 3 strips locked up. And this was another multi-core bug. So I totally separated the 2 pattern stuff on the 2 cores now. So there should be nothing shared between the 2 cores anymore. So that should make it run a lot better and get rid of all the multi-core problems. And also because some of the things were shared between the 2 cores, it was running a little faster than it should. So now it should be running at the same speed. Normal speed. And like I said, this was fixed in 0.22, but since I didn't do like a release video or anything, that's why I'm talking about it now. So Hook of the Reaper bug. Okay, if when you load up test light controller with lead hook strip, and you had the patterns running, the test light controller wouldn't work correctly. So I put code in, so when you bring up the test light controller and you bring up lead hook strip, it will turn off the patterns for that light controller now. So when you go test it, everything should be shut off now, and it'll actually work and be testable now. Then when you unselect it or just close the window, everything will come back on. So this is kind of a small bug. I forgot when I put everything to the light controller, I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot to actually turn off the patterns so things can work. Because if you have patterns going on, you're not gonna see too much. So I turned off all the patterns and everything started working and all that. So that was good. And the last bug was I was not checking the struct count for LED hook strip. So this is where you have like so many commands you can do for flash, random flash, and sequential. Because I create structs for them, and it originally was only 10, but people came in and said, "Hey, we needed more," so I moved it up to 30 now. So now Hook of the Reaper just makes sure you're not using 30 structs or more for flash or random flash or sequential. So each one of those can have 30 structs. So And I kind of showed some of that. And I also think I should update. I think the page should be also updated. And also I just want to say now you shouldn't see any crashes with lead hook strip unless you do something kind of crazy. But kind of for normal functional things, you shouldn't see lead hook strip crash anymore. If it does crash, and you can kind of figure out what is crashing it or the sequence to crashing it, please let me know, and that will be a bug, and I will fix it. So now everything should be checked out, so you shouldn't be crashing. And also the other one under crashing is holding of the string. So this is where it kind of gets messed up when doing a game, and it just holds the string until you exit the game, then it gets cleared out, then I'll start running the pattern. So that's kind of what I mean, holding the string. It doesn't let it go to do something else. Something got messed up and it's holding the string so nothing will run on it anymore. But yeah, just wanted to tell people now it should be stable. We shouldn't see any crashes or not. So if you do, let me know. Okay, so this is lead hook strip enhancements. So for the patterns now, I've updated it. So what you had was like a global pattern. So if you had 4 strips, then you just set that one pattern to all the strips. But now you can select for each one what pattern that you want. And I even showed a picture of 4 different patterns running on it. So you can have, if you have 4 strips, you can have all 4 different patterns running on it. And you can select that in Hook of the Reaper 2. So that's in these 2 releases. And another thing that people ask is get lower intensity for the pattern. So with lower intensity means lower power. So you can choose 100%, 50%, 33%, 25%, or 12.5%. And just like the pattern, each strip has their own intensity or power usage. I think it's put under power. So you'll have one combo box for the pattern, then right after it, another combo box for it. Here I can probably just show you. So now you should see, so you have the LEDs, the pattern, and power. Here I'll go into edit. So now you can see each one. Now, so I put it as a strip 0, as some people are getting confused, thinking strip 1 was the group number or group and strip 1. So now I have strip 0, 1, 2, and 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 to make sure people know that it is. Then you put the LEDs in, then you can go in here and each one you can select what pattern, then what power too you have. And the one thing I wanted to show, we come down here to light controller and come in here and group. This is where I kind of go more explanation. So the first strip is strip 0. Then I have a game file example of pound 00 and 01. So hopefully this will clear up any misinformation with what's going on. Okay, and like I talked about, I changed the struct, I increased the struct count, increased it from 10 to 30. So now Flash, Random Flash, and Sequential have up to 30 commands. And these are commands used per strip. So if you used like this, if you used 0, 1, 2, 3, that counts as 4 commands. So you could get up to 30 if you use it a lot, but it's going to be pretty hard You have to put it for player 1 and player 2 kind of thing. But if people still have problems with 30, I can bump it up to like 52 or 60. So let's see how it goes. And also, so when I did that, when I updated, I had to update the commands and how they get the data in. So when I was this 10, I just used 0 to 9. So I just used the 1 space. But now that it's bumped up to 30, I had to put a tens place in, which can go up to 0 to 99 now. So that's why I said if I wanted to go up 60, I just have to change two defines, two global variables. Because I also have to do the command pipe or command buffer for the wait for flashes too. So I have to increase those to both. Because if you have like 30 flashes, then the command buffer should be 32. Okay. Then this one I just talked about. I added more info on the first strip, which I showed already. That the group and strip are interchangeable for lead hook strip. And also I just wanted to say, also I put in it's almost impossible to damage the Pico 2W or the addressables LED strip. And what I mean by that is when I say almost impossible, it's like, yeah, when you're unplugging the USB, you could damage it. Or if there's like malicious code in it, which, I'm not going to put in or anything. But if things get messed up, the worst thing is you just reset the Pico 2. And even if the firmware gets messed up, you can just pull it out, then hit the boot thing and reload the firmware in there. And I have never had that happen where the firmware got thing. And also the addressable strips are, only thing you can do is just change the intensity for red, green, and blue through the interface. So it's not that complicated. So I just want to tell people that, don't feel free to try things out and experiment, because I had a feeling that people are very scared that they're going to damage something or screw something up. So don't worry about that. You're not going to damage or screw anything up. The worst thing is you have to just reset the Pico 2W, and you might have to pull the power on the ALED strips so they go back to let them go out and all that, because they can get messed up with the protocol if you do some stuff really fast. If you send data kind of really fast, they could get messed up. I've done that a couple times because it's so with the stuff I have, I can do it so fast. So all you do is just pull the power, let it go back. So resetting, it will change, it will fix everything. So don't worry, try experiments and do things. Okay, so Hook of the Reaper enhancements. Yeah, I updated the LED hook strip for the pattern changes. Like what I just showed you, you can select the patterns that you have and all that. Now each strip has its patterns and powers next to it. So you can put it in, and also you can edit it in the light controller. So if you want to lower the power for a certain pattern, you can. And also, because now, yeah, patterns and powers for each strip, I had to change the save file, but I did that in a way it doesn't affect anybody. So what it does, it just reads in the global pattern, then set all the patterns to that global, and it defaults to 100% too. Then you can go back into edit light controller window and change it from there. But after you kind of load it up, it will go to the new saving file, and then you can go change it again, which then will go into the saving file again. But that's pretty much it. So not too much for the enhancements for Hook of the Reaper. It was pretty light, but I was going to release it 2 or 3 days ago, but yes, but shit happened. So as you know, and the one thing I forgot to go back to was, so the one guy I talked about who did give the pull request to get the custom USB light gun into Hook of the Reaper. And to show you, the guy wrote out a huge message to me saying, hey, this is thanks and great. And yeah, I had no problem. I was like, wow, that's amazing. You know, and I go and talk to what he talked about. And yeah, and you can see pull requests actually merged and closed. So you see, here's evidence that, yeah, I took, people helped out, did a pull request, and I put it in. And like I said, I'm working with a guy doing Linux, which is awesome. So now we can have, look at the repo, we'll have Linux support, which will be really cool. And like I said, I should have the RPG Brooks board, encoder board here, and in like 3 or 4 days, so I can get started on that. But like I said, no, the GitHubs are pretty much now private, so you can't really get the code from that. But you can, like I said, now you know where to get it at Hook of the Reaper. You go here, you can go here to download too, and it'll bring you to the releases, or you can go to releases here. Then you go Hook of the Reaper, then version 1.3.2 will be right here when I get everything up. But that's it. I wish I had better news, but that's it. Bye.